So here it goes. I've got a very crazy, unorthodox theory. It happens in one of the most crucial parts in the Harry Potter series. Spoilers for this bit. It's a scene where Draco confronts Dumbledore at the top of the astronomy tower. When Draco disarms him and leaves him wandless, and Draco says, about the vanishing cabinet and how Dumbledore's going to kill him if Draco doesn't kill Dumbledore. There's a big theory out there that Draco is a werewolf, that he was bitten by Fenrir Greyback as a punishment towards Lucius for Lucius failing Dumbledore so many times. Because pure blood is crucial in the Malfoy family. They're ashamed of being anything but purebloods, and Draco having a lycanthropy would be a disgrace to their pureblood heritage. So we're going to take into account that Draco is now a werewolf, and I'm going to change the scene in the astronomy tower. I'm going to have it so you can tell in the scene that there's a full moon. At least I think it's a full moon. I'm going to have it so it's hidden, like in the Prison of Azkaban. I'm going to have it so it's hidden behind the clouds for a brief period of time. So the beginning of the scene would happen as usual. Draco would, after Harry's hidden down in the lower decks of the tower, Draco would emerge from the shadows, and Dumbledore would greet him benevolently. Good evening, Draco. What brings you here on this lovely spring night? I think Draco would still be in a panic state. But he would be even more stressed, and all of him was shaking because he knows it. I have it so. I forgot to mention that. So basically, I have it so. He's assigned to kill Dumbledore as usual, but he's got to get it done before the full moon rises, before he turns into a werewolf. Because Snape would actually be there to provide him with Wolfsbane potion. So because if you know about Wolfsbane potion, it allows the drinker as well to retain their human mind during transformation, so they still be human technically, and they wouldn't have the mind of a savage werewolf. So basically, Draco's got to kill Dumbledore, and then Snape will allow him. Will give him the potion. Sorry if that doesn't make sense. I don't really want to spend too much time on it. So Draco confronts Dumbledore, disarms him. Then when Draco shows Albus the dark mark on his arm, he said, "I was chosen." He would also reveal the bite mark that Fenrir gave him. And then when Dumbledore says, "I can help you," he said, he would also say, in addition to the fact that he has to kill Dumbledore, as Voldemort's going to kill him, also I have to do this for tonight's sake, to get the Wolfsbane potion. And also that Voldemort could possibly treat his lycanthropy, and get the potion and stuff. So Dumbledore, now wandless and defenseless, but just before the Death Eaters, including Bellatrix, ascend up the stairs to see Draco, having Dumbledore at one point, I believe the moon would then re-emerge from the clouds, and Draco, seeing the moon, not only would he be panicking, he would also be crying, knowing that he failed, before letting out a shriek of pure agony as he drops to his knees, with one no longer in his hands. And the Death Eaters would ascend the stairs and now be in the same room, same point of the tower as Draco and Dumbledore. Dumbledore would do what he did in the movie and greet Bellatrix and the others. Though he would look at Draco and say, "Got quite a bit of a tortured soul on your hands." Bellatrix, I believe, so enraged at all this, would grab Draco, put his wand back in his hands, and whisper to him, "Kill him. You still have a chance. Kill him. Kill him while you still can." Draco, possibly midway through his transformation, still screaming, would attempt to lift the wand, his hand trembling like an earthquake, before Severus steps into frame. Severus and Dumbledore would still retain their usual dialogue from the movie, apart from the last part. And Dumbledore and Severus would probably push Draco to the side, possibly binding him somehow, while raising his wand to use to kill Dumbledore. But at that point, though, Draco's transformation would be complete, and he'd break out of the magical binds, and he would attack. I believe he would go for Severus first. I believe, considering that he would be the closest person. Since Bellatrix and the Death Eaters were backing away at this point, he went for Severus first. I believe Snape would manage to fend him off, and Dumbledore would apparate out of the tower somewhere to safety, possibly down below to get Harry, then apparate somewhere else. Whether they would take Snape with them or not, I'm not really sure. If so, Snape would probably just kill Dumbledore wherever Dumbledore apparated to. And of course, Dumbledore saying, "Okay, let's do it." Or possibly not. Voldemort would probably hear of this, of Draco, feeling his chance to kill Dumbledore, and would take action. So anyway, yep, Dumbledore would apparate away, and Draco now transformed. Snape would possibly die. Yeah, I'm gonna say he dies because he won't have time to apparate, since werewolves are very fast and very fast and very agile and fast killers. I believe the Death Eaters would apparate as well. So Draco would kill Severus on the tower. And then after that, I believe Draco would now fully still a werewolf, possibly of course howl at the moon, and they probably flee the tower running on all fours. And the scene where the Death Eaters later on are destroying the Great Hall, causing destruction, I believe that would be Draco, but running through the halls and just slaughtering Hogwarts students. Very dark but true. A werewolf is a killer. They crave flesh. So Draco would be running through the Great Hall, running through the corridors, slaughtering everyone. I believe that's possibly McGonagall will be able to subdue Draco. I'm not quite sure, but many casualties would ensue. What happened from although possibly Draco would probably get killed because he'd be too dangerous by McGonagall. Again, this is my first theory, so I'm just trying to I haven't got much planned. I'm just wanting to get this theory out there, that Draco transforming into werewolf at this time would change a lot of things. But I believe, that if McGonagall or any of the other teachers found him, of course they would because he's killing everyone, I would try and subdue him, which would be very hard, or they would kill him. Because werewolves are extremely dangerous and hard to subdue. I reckon they'd probably burn him. Again, quite dark, but true. They'd probably burn him. If that's true, then yeah, Draco would die. Whilst his parents already suffering from the stress of, Draco having to kill Dumbledore, they'd be at even greater loss. They'd be even more saddened, and possibly to pushed to their breaking point now that they've lost their son. I don't know what they do from there on, probably just grieve, or they wouldn't try and leave Voldemort, I'm not quite sure. Draco was subdued, and I believe he'd be held until the morning where he'd transform back into his human self. And I believe he'd either be sent to Azkaban, or Dumbledore would come, or Severus or Harry would come back. Probably Severus would come back and take Draco with him back to the Dark Lord, but Draco would face severe punishment or possibly death. So that's my crazy theory. Right. Sorry that it was a bit... Sorry it was very, there's a lot of pausing and stuff. Sorry, it's my first theory video. Alright, thank you guys for listening. Like, subscribe, bye.